What's up, guys? We are back with another weekend deal roundup and back in the office. I haven't done one of these in a while. I've been doing them via email. So if you do want to get these deal roundups going forward, make sure to sign up for the email list below and we'll get that cranking week after week. But today we are doing it via video so I can give everyone out there a chance again to sign up before we shift to fully doing them via email. Now, if you're new here or you weren't around, I used to do these every week on the channel, the 10 best running shoe deals on the market. And so today that's what we're gonna do. I try to find the 10 best deals under $100, but we also go for best value. If there's a good deal above 100, I will highlight it here. Now, I'm in a little bit of a reloading phase right now with my shoes in the channel. You might have noticed over the past week, we didn't do any first run reviews because I'm trying to get some miles and some things, and we got some awesome shoes coming through in the next few weeks, so stay tuned. I am also taking requests for shoes that I have not reviewed yet that you want to see on the channel. So if there's something out there that you really want to see me cover, drop it below and I'll add it to the queue and we will get it over here to get some miles in it and do a review. Last bit of housekeeping, and I've been doing a terrible job at highlighting these things recently. I need to do a better job. I'm really bad talking about everything that I'm working on, but if you haven't checked out the running shoe matcher tool yet, go to supwell.io and go to the shoe matcher tab. You can answer a quiz with 5 questions and get matched with the best shoe for you. And also, if you are planning on buying a new running shoe, not one of these deals, please use my Running Warehouse link if you're based in the US. You get free shipping, 90-day returns, which is why I also recommend Running Warehouse and love having them as a partner. They're the best place to buy shoes online because you can try them on, you can even run in them. It's a no questions asked 90-day return policy. So if you are gonna buy a full price shoe, please do it through that Running Warehouse link. It supports my channel. That's also what allows me to be unbiased. I don't get any money from the brands. Running Warehouse is actually starting to help me get some of these new products in-house, which is cool too. So support me, support Running Warehouse, which is keeping the channel active, and buy your new shoes through my links on supwell.io. All right, guys, with that, let's get into the best deals this weekend. All right, guys, so first up this weekend, we have the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. Now, I have been getting lots of miles in the Speed 4, and if you've been watching my coverage of this shoe, I feel like I've been biting my tongue a little bit, trying not to be too mean to the shoe because I'm just hoping it wins me over. I don't want to say anything too harsh about it and then have to walk it back, but if you've been watching my coverage of the shoe, you can probably tell I haven't gotten along with it all that well. It's okay at everything, and for an $170 shoe with a race day foam and a plate in there, it should be great at one thing. It should be good for fast running and feel like the best option on the market for something, and to me it doesn't. The heel feels a little bit clunky, it feels a little bit awkward, and it just feels a little bit less fun than the Speed 3 here. I loved this shoe. I put 300 miles on this guy, and I put 300 miles on a previous pair of it. It was a little bit soft and squishy in the forefoot for me for fast running, but for everyday miles, it's a really fun shoe. It reminded me a lot of the Mach 5, which we'll also highlight on this roundup, but these fun shoes that I can use for steadier miles. So if you've been considering the Speed 4, there's a lot of hype, a lot of buzz, a lot of posts online about this shoe, I would go ahead and buy the Speed 3 for $135. That puts it cheaper than shoes like the Saucony Ride, cheaper than a full price Pegasus, cheaper than almost every single daily trainer out there. You can use it for everyday miles. You guys know I don't love running in plated shoes all the time, but if you are in marathon training and you want a little bit extra support, you want to protect your legs, guys, I've been running in plated trainers almost every day this past week, which makes it a little bit easier to hit high mileage levels. So if that's what you're doing, and if you want a fun shoe for those everyday miles, even long miles, Speed 3 is a great choice, especially for lighter runners. This is a really good shoe for fast running. Some bigger runners might find this a little bit soft, especially once you get the foam past up 200 miles, but everyone can find a place for this in their rotation, no matter your size, pace, or running mechanics. It's stable, it's fun, it's bouncy, and it is a superior shoe to the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4. So go ahead and get this one for $135. All right, guys, we go on back-to-back Saucony today in 1 and 2 in the batting order. Next, we have the Saucony Triumph 20. And this guy was my Christmas present in 2022 from Charlie. She knew I wanted a waterproof shoe, and I was super curious about the Triumph, so she got me this guy here. Now, this is the best value deal on the market right now. It is $65 at Marshall's, which is absolutely insane because the Triumph 20 is the same exact thing as the Triumph 21. They just revised the upper a little bit on the 21. So what I love about this shoe right here is the foam. You have this massive stack of Power Run Plus foam. So it's a beaded TPU. It's really similar to Adidas Boost foam if you're familiar with that, but it's not as heavy and dense. So it's light enough for some faster running, and it's also comfortable enough and supportive enough for long runs. So I use this thing for 2-hour plus 20-mile long runs last year. I have 350 miles on it, and the foam is going super strong. That's another great thing about the beaded TPU versus a standard training foam like an EVA or even a PEBA. I found this to be the most durable foam I've ever run in. And in the Adidas Boost shoes, actually, I got 700 miles out of my first pair of Adidas Ultra Boost. This guy's at 350 miles. I've chewed through the outsole here a little bit, but I might take this up to 400 miles, just occasionally throw some miles on it here and there just to see how much we could do with the shoe. But if you're looking for bang for your buck, no better option than this guy right here. You could use it for long runs, you could use it for speed work, you can use it for everyday miles. The only thing I don't love about it, well, two things. First is the 10mm drop. It can make the heel feel a little bit awkward for some mechanics, but for me, I've worked with the shoe. And if you are forefoot striking, it doesn't get in the way too much. It's actually, ironically, for heel striking, sometimes it can feel a little bit awkward. And the second thing is walking. I don't love the shoe for walking because it's not the most wide platform out here in the back. It's actually a little bit narrow, and the midfoot is extremely narrow. I got Charlie a pair of these too, and for her, she could barely get her midfoot in it, so she stopped using it and went to the Cloudmonster. So for some of you, if you have a narrow midfoot and you want something to walk in, might not be the best choice, but for others out there, this is going to be a really good value buy at $65. You can use it for any type of run. You can even race a marathon in it. Someone just told me they did that, which is really cool. So number 3 today, we got the Vomero 17, which I named the most underrated running shoe of 2023. And it's funny that it's underrated because the top layer has Nike's ZoomX foam, which is their race day foam, but it seems that any training shoe Nike puts out, especially if it doesn't have a plate and if it's from the swoosh brand, it's not gonna get that much pop. Nike has lost their place a little bit as a hyped brand in the running community. And the Alpha Fly 3, which came out earlier this year, that got a lot of pop, but I don't know what it is about the brand. The training shoes don't get that much pop. I am looking forward to the Peg Turbo this year, and I know a lot of you guys are as well. But in general, their shoes are flying a little bit under the radar. So this thing is an awesome shoe. I've been getting a lot of miles in recently in the Puma Deviate Nitro 2, and the rides between this shoe and the Deviate Nitro 2 are extremely similar. They both have a dual foam construction. So in the Deviate Nitro 2, you got the Nitro foam in the heel, and then the Nitro Elite foam, which is a race day foam. I believe it's PEBA, softer, bouncier. The Vomero feels the same exact way with the ZoomX on top, and then you also got the super chunky, robust outsole, which is the same thing we see in the Deviate Nitro 2. So if you are a fan of that shoe and you want another super durable daily trainer that doesn't have a plate in it, that has a little bit more of a flexible forefoot, that's what you're going to be getting out of the Nike Vomero 17 here. This is a shoe that's also going to work for a lot of people. Doesn't matter your mechanics, doesn't matter how long you've been running. I recommended it to one of my friends who he ran a marathon a few years ago and now is training for, I think, his second marathon this year, and he runs about 9-minute, 10-minute paces. He does one workout per week. He runs all of his miles in the Vomero, and he's really been enjoying it so far. So for anyone out there who's looking for one shoe to do it all, that doesn't have any crazy tech in it, but just a nice ride, a good bit of stability, and very durable, can wear for casual use, that's going to be the Vomero here, and it is $120 in a clean navy colorway on Nike.com. You got to put the shoe in your cart first, and the price goes down to $120. All the links, by the way, are in the description below. All right, guys, number 4 today, batting cleanup in the lineup like Big Papi Ortiz. We got the Asics Gel-Nimbus 25, and like Big Papi Ortiz, this thing is a monster. So the Gel-Nimbus 25 has a massive stack of cushion. This is one of the most comfortable and softest shoes that I've ever run in, right up there with the Ultra Boost and the New Balance 1080 V13. I do prefer the 1080 V13 to this because this got a little too squishy for me when I got it past that 250 miles. The durability was not great. I also felt like with the foam here, and you can see how much foam we got hanging off the back, which is going to make this a good option for heel strikers, a really nice option for heel strikers, because when you land, you just get that nice gentle absorption from the gel in the heel and roll forward with the rocker. But it kind of felt like I was fighting against the foam sometimes. And this is not a shoe where I tried to do any sort of fast miles in it. I did not try to pick up the pace down to steady or marathon pace or anything. But even for easy miles, sometimes it felt like a little bit too much foam. That being said, if you want something that is super comfortable and you don't mind paying $120 for a shoe that's going to last probably 250 to 300 miles, then I would go ahead and get the shoe. Also, the Gel-Nimbus 26 came out. It's not going to be too different from this guy. I would not pay the additional $40 price premium for that. And so if you are considering the 1080 V13 and you think that 165 is too much, then this is also a good choice. Again, you're probably not going to get as many miles from this out of the 1080, but if you are a lighter runner, more efficient, better mechanics, you might get some more use out of this than I did. I had to retire it at about 270 to 280 miles. I was actually wondering a few weeks ago, did I retire the shoe too early? So I took it out for a cool down after a workout and it just had no life left in it. So I did not do that, but you might be able to get some more life out of it than me. And at 120, that's not too bad of a price to pay for a shoe that is super comfortable. All right, guys, number 5 here. I don't have a baseball player to compare this to, batting number 5 in the lineup, but we have the Hoka Mach 5. That's cute, 5 and 5, right? So the Mach 5 is a lightweight speed training shoe that can also be used for daily miles. I got this pair up in the Cape last year when we were on vacation. I needed a new pair of shoes for the trip. You guys know how that is. Sometimes you just need a new pair of shoes, even though you already brought 3 with you. So I think I got this at Marathon Sports in Hyannis when we were driving up to Wellfleet. And so shout out to Marathon Sports. I learned that they're actually owned by Fleet Feet, I believe. So that's pretty cool. But don't buy your shoes from Fleet Feet if you're buying them online. Buy them from Running Warehouse. So this guy, like the Vomero, it has a dual foam construction. You can see on the top here, it says ProFly Plus right here. It is a supercritical EVA. That means the foam has been injected with gas. It's usually nitrogen. I'm not sure exactly what gas they've injected this with, but it's going to give it a lighter, bouncier feel than the bottom foam here, which is very firm. Add some stability to the shoe. It also adds a little bit of structure so that when you're running fast, you don't just sink into the foam, you can pop off. And then you can also see we got a really nice rolling rocker bottom here. This is one of the most enjoyable shoes for me for those days where I'm not going to be going super slow using a Gel-Nimbus, or even I don't want something super comfortable like a Vomero or a 1080. But for those days when I want to go out there, not think about pace, but push the pace a little bit, that's where the Mach 5 comes into play. So it's not a shoe that I would reach for all the time for my fast structured workout days, but for on days where, hey, I want to run some steady pace, maybe I'll start out the run on an easy pace, progress it, work down to a nice fast pace, not look at my watch, but be pushing it. That's what the Mach 5 is great at. I also did do some mile repeats that I think 2 of my fastest mile repeats this year or last year I did in this shoe, and it's fantastic for all of that work. And then the last thing is I did recovery runs in this thing too. So it is a versatile beast. Some runners who run in the first versions of the Peg Turbo who loved that compared the Mach 5 to it. So if you are familiar with that shoe, again, soft, bouncy, can change character for running slow or fast. That's what you're gonna get out of the Mach 5. And so I'm waxing poetic about it. The one knock that a lot of runners had was the durability. I actually got 300 miles out of this, and the outsole is completely flat on the back, but the foam felt okay. I could probably get another 100, 150 miles out of it if I had to. I have some other shoes that have some more life left, and the mileage that I got out of this was more than the Asics Gel-Nimbus. So durability is not a concern. At $110, which this is, it's a great buy. We got the Mach 6 coming out soon, which is a completely different shoe. It might also be great. They added a rubber outsole, but it's going to be really different from this guy. The rocker doesn't look the same, and they've also gone 100% of the supercritical EVA foam in here, whereas this one has the EVA, which I think actually might give it some of that faster rolling feeling through the rocker here. So we'll have to see how that one performs, but if you like the Mach 5, now would be a good time to get another pair. All right, guys, number 6, we got the Saucony Endorphin Shift 3. So this guy is on sale right now for $80. I think the retail was $150, and this is a hate it or love it type shoe. If you do not like firm shoes, go ahead and skip ahead a minute or however long I'm going to talk about this, because this shoe is not for you. However, if you do appreciate a firmer, more structured shoe, if you're a bigger runner, if you like cushion and comfort, but don't like the feeling of sinking super deep into a max cushion shoe like an Asics Gel-Nimbus or a 1080, this is going to be the shoe for you. It also, because of this huge rocker, you see this is like a canoe bottom and it slopes aggressively up here. It also can be used for speed work if you are a bigger runner and you want something a little bit more supportive. So like the Mach 5, and I think this is common with some of these more aggressively rockered shoes, this thing is a super versatile shoe. I took it up to 350 miles and I got that much mileage out of it because I used it for everything pretty much. I think I ran it almost every day from February to April last year. This thing was my go-to shoe. Now, I didn't use it for anything past 10 miles. That's the only knock on it. It is cushioned, but I prefer a little bit of a softer cushion for those long runs. So I was going for the Triumph instead of this. But if you like a firmer cushion, you can use this for absolutely any type of run. At $80, it's a really good buy, like that Triumph at $65. And they're not going to be continuing the shoe. I had a runner message me earlier this week and she was distraught because she absolutely loved this thing. They are going to be replacing it with the Guide 17, which came out recently. That doesn't have the same low 4mm drop as this. I believe that one is in the 6 to 8mm range. And then you also have the Hurricane coming out later this year, which is kind of the replacement in spirit to this, since this is an Endorphin. That one is having that Endorphin spirit with the Power Run PB, but it's not going to have the same firm feel. So if you do like a firmer cushion shoe, you got to buy this now at $80 until we can come up with a better recommendation. Brooks Ghost Max is decent, but I liked this one more for running, especially for fast running. So stay tuned though on a replacement recommendation because I really want to get a good Shift 3 replacement recommendation. Let me know if you guys have any that I should try to replace this guy. In the 7th slot, we have the Nike Pegasus. Rule number 1 of buying running shoes is never pay full price on a peg. So these things always go on sale, but with Adidas and Nike, specifically on the Pegasus, these things just can never stay at full price. You just wait, and some colorways will go down to 70, some will go down to 60. The lowest we see right now is $90. You can probably wait a week or two and we'll see them down at 70 and 80 again. I think the reason they do that is because they just crank these things out because people buy so many of them, but they also have enough inventory where if a certain color is not moving, they can slash the price. So where you're gonna get out of this peg and why it's so popular is because it's a decently comfortable shoe. We see some nice padding around the heel here. You got a normal lacing system and a decently soft foam, not too soft, not too firm. It's a shoe that can handle pretty much anything, and it's not designed just for running. It's designed for gym, it's designed for walking, it's designed for casual use. It's kind of disgusting that I'm holding this in my hand right now because I took it to my last trip to New York City. Guy made it up to the top of the World Trade Center with me in addition to my hobby jogger hat. But it's a shoe that can do absolutely everything. And if you're the type of runner who wants a shoe for dropping your kids off to school and then doing a quick jog, going to the Greenway, going to the grocery store, Peg is a great choice. I prefer this to a lot of the daily trainers I've been testing at the $140 MSRP this year. I think I might prefer this to the Puma Velocity Nitro 3 for that use case, especially for casual and just some light miles. Velocity Nitro 3 is a bit better for faster running because that nitro foam really activates. And I definitely prefer this to the 880. We're not even going to get in it. We're not even going to get into it with that shoe right now. I have nothing to say about the 880 that you guys want to hear. But Pegasus is up there for me in terms of a daily trainer. And so if you want something super simple, go ahead and pick up the $90 Peg. All right, guys, number 8, we have the On Cloudmonster. You can see my pair is extremely well loved. It's actually shedding dry grass on top of my desk here, which I will have to clean up. There has been many a rock lodged in the center, and we've also completely burnt through the outsole. So the reason this pair is so well loved, I actually retired it probably about 250, 300 miles running, but I now use it as my backyard soccer ball shoe, as my around town shoe. This and the Ghost Max, I switch between them. It's a nice, comfortable shoe for walking around, for hanging out with the fam. It looks good. I call this the modern Air Max, the 2020s Air Max. I think the silhouette is gonna be going on for 20 plus years, especially in the sneakerhead community and in the overlap between the street wear and performance community. This is a loved silhouette. Some runners didn't love the On brand and still don't, but this is a good shoe that broke through, specifically with the design and then also with the performance. It offers a nice firmer ride. It's a firmer, more structured cushion, but the way that these pods work when they're fresh out of the box up to that 0 to probably 175, 200 mile mark, they have this unique compress and release that I've never felt in any type of shoe. And with the way that they're laid out here, you can almost feel each individual pod compressing paired with the rocker going down the chain here. And then once you get to the top, feeling that nice pop off as all the pods release. So it's a fun shoe to run in. It's stable. The upper is comfortable. Some runners have reported it's a little bit narrow. I didn't have that issue. and it's a good option for everyday miles. I wouldn't recommend this as a workhorse daily trainer if you're planning to get 400, 500 miles out of pair, but at this sale price of $135, it's a good buy if you want something fun to run in occasionally and use for walking, use for casual, not necessarily the errand type of casual, but you want to get a little bit of drip going. That's what you got the Cloudmonster for. Cloudmonster 2 is hitting the scene. I'm not sure I'm planning on testing that one, but it looks like it's more of the same with a slightly different forefoot. So also, if you did like the Cloudmonster 1, you want to get another pair, now would be a good time to get a discounted colorway for $135. All right, guys, next up here, we have the Tier Valkyrie Carbon Elite. Now, I told you, I got to do a little bit better job of promoting the things that I'm working on. And so I reached out to Tier initially after I saw them at TRE, the running event in Austin last year, and I was blown away by what they were working on. I was impressed that a non-running brand, so they specialize in swim and gym. I was impressed that they could cook up these cool race day products. And so when they finally sent this to me this year and I did a 22-mile long run in it with marathon pace and I think some threshold pace in there, I was blown away and I became a huge convert. I emailed them and I was like, dude, we got to get the word out about the Tier Valkyrie Elite Carbon because I think it's going to be a better option for a lot of runners out there than the Nike Vaporfly, the Alphafly, and a lot of what bigger, heavier, more athletic runners are gravitating to right now. I don't think those shoes are serving a lot of us that great. And so you saw in the review I did of the shoe, I was playing lacrosse and being silly, but it's very stable and it feels like a true athletic fit shoe if that's your background. And so after running the shoe, when I reached back out to them, they agreed to help me bring the price down on it because I mentioned to them that's an issue I'm hearing a lot of runners have with the shoe. The MSRP is $250, which puts it up against the New Balance SC Elite, almost up against the Vaporfly, puts it up higher than the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. And so they gave me a $25 off discount code. It is Supwell. I'll put it in the link below to bring the price of this down to $225. So this is not a sub $100 deal. $225 is still very expensive and it is going to be a niche product. This is not the best race day shoe for everybody out there. But if you're running in that 3-hour to 4-hour marathon range and you come from a more athletic background, you want a little bit more stability, that's what this shoe is great for. It uses this beaded PIBA. So a beaded PIBA is the same thing that's in the Saucony Power Run PB. It's fun, it's bouncy, and it has this aggressive, really aggressive forefoot rocker up front. And when you hit it right at the midfoot or the forefoot, you get a ton of pop out here. It is super fun. And the back, you got a lot of stability from how flat the platform is. So it's a shoe that can change character. If you're running at the front, you get fast and fun. If you're running at the back, you get a little bit more grounded and stable. So $225 with my code Supwell. I hope this will get a few more of you former athletes to try this because it is really a great product that is very supportive if you are a bigger, taller runner who don't feel served well by some of those softer race day foams. All right, guys, last up here, it is a shoe I do not have a prop for, so we will throw up the little Atreyu Daily Trainer. So Atreyu Daily Trainer is $55 at REI, and this is the only one I haven't tried on this list. I really want to try it because at $55 to me, that is just an incredible deal for a shoe that has a full supercritical EVA midsole, a decent amount of rubber coverage, and specs are nearly identical to a ton of shoes that are priced at $140, $150, $160. MSRP of this is only around $100. So it's already a pretty good deal. That's what Atreyu does. They make these running shoes to meet or exceed the market quality with a price that's much lower. And so I love what they're doing. They're based down in Austin, Texas. I really want to do something with them at some point. I probably should just order this shoe and run in it so I can fully, wholeheartedly endorse it. But at $55, if you need a new daily trainer, this is going to be a really good choice. All right, guys, I am all talked out. I hope this was helpful. Drop your email below to get the deals email going forward when I fully transition it over. I'm not sure when I'm going to do that. I might do a few more of these week on week, but please do that. I got a long run tomorrow, so I got to fuel up. I got to rest up, and I will see you then.